Hello, I've had a special request to do a brief improvised talk on the subject of something and nothing in relation to art making and the idea that art is not created in a vacuum, and if it's possible to create a vacuum, could we potentially make art from that, or would the creation of a vacuum be enough in itself? So, briefly, here's my take on it. I draw on the philosophy of Henri Bergson at this point in his The Creative Mind collected essays. He speaks of the problem of something and nothing as being a false problem. Nothing is a something. Our conception of nothing is itself a something. Nothingness itself may exist, but our conception is a something. So the idea when you make art that you're creating something new in the world is true, but the fact is that what we do, if I can draw on the old etymology of the term invent, when we invent something, the older etymology is we make an inventory. That sense exists in our term inventory when we take note of what's around, whether make a record of it or we just note it. When you create art, I mean, when I'm at the piano or at my manuscript or my laptop, I'm beginning with some things, even though the art that I want to create or the art that I will create currently doesn't exist. The parts of it exist already. If I'm working on manuscript paper, the stave itself, those 5 lines, already exists. I've got a grid on which to spin my artistry. If I draw a middle C or whatever note, the concept of that, the ideal concept of that already exists, and I've spoken about the ideal middle C in a previous talk to camera. So these things are already there. It's actually what we do with them that's the important thing. Now, when it comes to the idea of the ready-made in art, these found objects, for example, I enjoy playing what I call found pianos. These pianos like in a back room of a pub or a social club or whatever, that very often have laid dormant for a number of years. For me, those instruments already exist in some kind of perfect state. I almost want to go on stage when I perform with those instruments and say to the audience, look, whatever I do with this instrument is not necessarily as going to be as perfect as this extraordinary ready-made thing that is already there. So it's almost that you want to take it and put it in a gallery so people can look at it. But then these instruments are made to be played. So the moment you lift the lid and start playing notes, you're creating something new in the world, even though everything that you're using to create it is already there. The newness comes from your interaction with that thing or those things. The notes on the manuscript pad, the keys on the piano, the strings of a guitar, whatever it is, how you approach that instrument is the newness that emerges from the situation, and then something new is created. Might not be very good, it might be really good, it might be mediocre, it might be okay, but those things are judgments after the event of the actual creation. The creation itself comes from taking those things. And I want to reference Gregory L. Almer for my knowledge of the etymology of invention from his amazing book Teletheory. And again, to name check Henri Bergson in his argument that the problem of something and nothing is a false problem. When it comes to making something new, if you're an artist and you're looking to make something new today, or if you're a thinker about art and you just want to let your thoughts run freely about, all this stuff I'm talking about, never worry about starting from scratch. There is no such thing as a blank canvas. Now I'm starting to reference Gilles Deleuze in his book on Francis Bacon, the artist. The canvas is already full. The task of the artist is to remove certain elements of that fullness. The same with the piano that I referenced earlier. That piano is already full of potential. My job as a pianist, an improvising pianist, is to use that piano, utilize it, and pick out certain things that are new by virtue of actually doing it. The problem of something and nothing, the ready-made, and the ongoing problem of making new art in a world that often seems overfull with art and everything. Don't overthink it, just do it. That's my honest advice. This comes to you from the shed area in my back garden. Sheds are traditionally places where a person will go and work at something, either remake it, fix it, make something new. I thought it was a fitting location for this particular talk. Good luck to you all, and I look forward to our next interaction via this medium. Goodbye for now.